September the 26th, 2024. As you're looking at a website, it's called floridadisaster.org, and then you can go /evacuation orders. Most states have this, but there's a lot of people under mandatory evacuation in Florida. Look at this, all the way into South Florida, to the Tampa Bay area, and all the way up into the Big Bend area. Again, I think it will extend up through Georgia. The orange squares, they're like a mandatory evacuation, but a lot of times it will be for like a campground with a lot of campers and really unstable places to be, maybe sometimes a mobile home. Your yellow areas are voluntary areas, but just think of the population through here. And we're getting a lot of power outages now. Again, if you're in any of these areas, you can look up in the map, or you can go right here at the bottom of this and it will give you the county by county. Let's check that out. Now, again, the yellow, these are voluntary evacuations. Baker County here, and another section in Baker County, Lucia County. Then you get into the red ones, Charlotte County, and you'll have a couple of different areas in the county. Citrus County, a couple of different areas. Dixie County, this is talking about more than likely mobile home parks or campgrounds with campers. Dixie County in the red, Franklin again, Gadsden County. You've got one voluntary evacuation. You'll just have to look on the map. Gilchrist County, Guff County, mandatory, Hamilton voluntary, another Hamilton. But you can come here and check. You can see all the way on that map. There's a lot of evacuation zones. Come here and check. Click on the evacuation orders or the map, and you can see your locations. The winds down there are so powerful. And you remember the video before this I was showing, he had kind of a maroon dot in the center was hurricane force winds, but the tropical storm force winds were very wide indeed. But Florida, you've got now 109,597 meters out. Georgia, you've got 13,000. North Carolina, you've got 17,000. Now, if it's less than 10,000, you may have quite a bit. There's 2,000 in South Carolina. Mississippi, you've got 750. Alabama, you got 926. But this is important. And the reason I say that, we just looked at the evacuation maps as for all of this area, right? Now, if they don't have power, unless they still have cell phone connectivity, in other words, you don't have any towers out that are broadcasting cell phone frequencies or Wi-Fi, then call your friends and family in all of this area that you just saw in the section of the video before this, because they may not be getting the evacuation warnings or they may need help. Make sure you do that now. And guys, just as we clicked the map, it added about 4,000 more outages. And again, it's supposed to come in right in here. I noticed in the wobble this morning, we saw it come up, make a wobble. Now it's turned back, headed north. We'll take a look at that. But here in Wakulla County, 639. But look down in here, you got 9,000 out in Charlotte County, Sarasota County, 16. Manatee County, 5,000. Here in Hillsborough, it's 5,000. Pinellas County, 1,000. You can come here and look. But again, a total of 109,597. Now, the National Hurricane Center's last printout, we haven't got the new one yet, is showing the wind at 110. 111 is a Cat 3. Fox Hurricane now has theirs updated to 120 mile per hour sustained winds, northeast at 20 miles per hour. So each update, we're seeing that forward speed pickup. This was at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, which was 36 minutes ago. Still showing the loop, 65 mile per hour storm, almost into Tennessee. Atlanta, you're going to be on the wrong side, the northeast quadrant. Just going to loop through here up until Saturday. From then, they're not sure what will happen. Will the high pressure above this set in and push it back in? Because after this comes in today, in 10 days, we have another one setting in the Gulf, almost in the same area. And these spaghetti models, they're kind of all over the place now. You've got a couple of them that come up further north and loop back out into the Atlantic. Your Canadian model starts right here on the furthest left. It's that light green. shows it coming up pretty much a center of where the National Hurricane Center has this now. Still Navy a no-show, but there's enough information and we're close to shore now that we can pretty much figure it out without them. This is the latest on the watches and warnings. Hurricane in the red. Notice how it goes up through southeastern Alabama and very deep into Georgia. Check that out. And more than likely, Atlanta, you're going to get some Cat 1 winds. This extends all the way down to here offshore, but remember, the evacuation orders go much further. And it's pretty much showing the wave height information has been corrected. You got a Category 3 set here. This southeast quadrant has 28-foot seas right through this area, which is kind of white. See that? 18-foot getting close to Fort Myers. 14-foot outside of Tampa Bay, 9-foot offshore in the area that is expected to come ashore. This is now. That's going to change. 28-foot, guys. You're kind of in the pink and the white. But when you get into the very white, right around the core, you're looking at 35-foot plus seas. And now this Cat 3 is pretty much taking over the weather that surrounds it. You can see the eye very well. And this morning we saw it come north, make a wobble. Now we're seeing it go back north. Just one wobble to the right there is kind of wobbling back and forth. But still, the impact is looking to be right in this area, just where they're putting up all the warnings. Check that out. Now let's switch it to infrared and see where the moisture is. And look at now, it's a Cat 3. It's not all on one side of the hurricane. It is completely surrounding that eye. It looks like a pretty good eye, too. Notice Cuba. The wind that's coming off this thing is pushing some of the tops off the storms that are trailing behind it. We don't know how that will affect the tornadoes coming in tonight and tomorrow, because these feeder bands may become the most important right here and right here to watch. And they're already starting to come ashore in the Tampa Bay area. And looking at the knot to mile per hour wind speed conversion, 105 is the sustained winds, 121. A Cat 3 starts at 111. Now, the 130 gust is off this chart, but at 130 knots, you're looking at 149.6 mile per hour winds. Very close to Cat 5 gust. And I'm thinking, because we still have about, 5 hours of daylight with the sun on top of that storm and very warm waters, that we could see some intensification going forward this afternoon. Regardless, you do not want to play with a Cat 3 with Cat 4 or nearly Cat 5 gusts. Get out of there now. Do not play with it. They're starting to shut down bridges and highways and low-lying areas, things like that. They've got a lot of webcams up watching that. It's going to be a lot of movement, especially on your major interstates headed north out of Florida, because you have a third of the population evacuating or told to evacuate. But again, remember this. If you have friends or family in any of those counties that we saw that are mandatory evacuation, most don't have power, please call them and check on it now. Watch for the later update this evening. It's getting very close to coming ashore, guys. Be very careful. It's a heads up. Be safe.